I'm trying to make the most of the time I have right now with the quarantine and COVID going on. We're almost to 100 days now, and it's been going pretty good so far. I've been making good progress on the Civic. Today I got some new parts in the mail. I'm excited to start the next project, but I'll give you a peek of what this is. So let's check it out. I've been trying to make progress with the Civic, and it's hard. It's hard to adjust like my new working schedule and just the way the world operates now with a project car, but I'm doing my best. So these new parts I just ordered. I'm going to start something new on the Civic, and yeah, I'm excited about this, but here we go. It's another box. I was not expecting that. Double boxing got me again. So here we go. We know what these are for, right? So they're bushings, and they go to my brake conversion kit. So that's what we're going to work on today. Get started anyway. Is these bushings obviously are just destroyed, so these are going to come out. But before I do that, I'm going to disassemble the entire spindle, take the rotor off. These ones have, you know, the ABS sensor still attached. My car doesn't have ABS, so I'm going to disassemble the ABS sensor, get that all off, and get these ready where I can start pounding on that bushing and get it out so we can start swapping in the fresh ones. So, should be a fun project. Now, if you remember, I got these out of the junkyard off a 96 Integra, and the arms themselves are in fine shape. The calipers are good. The rotors themselves are super rusted, as you can see. I'm gonna try them on the car, but you know, I'll probably end up replacing the rotors, and that's okay. The rotors themselves are not that expensive to replace, so I'll do that. But what definitely needs to be replaced are, you know, the brake cable. These won't work in an EG hatch. You need to get the correct brake cable, so I'll do that. I'll have to order that new. And then, of course, I mean, the bushings, you've seen these. They're just completely destroyed. So that's really the first thing that I need to replace. Well, the only thing I have to replace before I put these in the car. So that's where, you know, I have the new bushing in. So before I start pounding on that to get it out, I need to clean up the rest of the arm. So I need to remove the brake cable, and then the ABS sensor. I need to disassemble that too. So we'll do that. It'll happen right now. Right now. Works on YouTube. All right. I guess I'll just have to do it myself. So disassembling the rear trailing arms, not that difficult. You basically just need two sockets. So there's going to be a 12 and a 14. So your 12 is going to take care of most of your brake caliper stuff. The 14 is going to be for the hose and also for the brake bracket to get that loose. And then everything, you know, basically comes apart pretty easily. There's a couple of clips that you'll have to take care of. There's one down here for the handbrake cable, and then there's another one. They're both here on the handbrake. There's one up here, and then there's one back here as well. But yeah, so tools, pretty straightforward. You do want to soak these in PB Blaster. They have a tendency to get seized in there and become pretty difficult to come out, which makes sense because it's braking components. You want those nice and tight. But your tools are going to be, yeah, straightforward. So hand driver, socket, extension is always helpful. You're going to need a size 12. Put that right there. And you're going to need a 14. That right there. Then a set of needle nose pliers is going to help you get those clips out. Channel locks if things get real nasty. And then I like to use a little pry bar. The pry bar is helpful to get that pin out of the handbrake or the handbrake cable. And then some optionals nice to have, obviously, an impact driver. I have my reducer down so I can use my 3/8 inch sockets. And then this screwdriver, an impact screwdriver, that's really helpful with the rotor. There's 2 set screws in the rotor that tend to get really stuck in there. This gets them out really quickly. So those are nice to have. Otherwise, you can use hand screwdriver and hand tools, but pretty straightforward. So let's start knocking things out of the trailing arm. Okay, so first things first, I just want to get rid of this old brake line. I'm not going to be reusing this. This came off of the junkyard car. I'm going to be replacing the brake lines with new ones, so it's not super critical to be really gentle with these, but they can get pretty stuck on there. So there we go. So that one's broken loose. Good. The banjo bolt, we'll see if that one gets off. I'm just going to cheat and skip ahead to the impact driver. Let's see here. Hopefully this doesn't break. All right. Yeah, these things can get really stuck. So get that out. Then I'm just replacing, putting everything right back where it came from, just so I don't lose anything. And you know, there's still there's still brake fluid in here, so that'll keep it from spilling over everything. So I'll just put this right back in the bracket. Ugh. Take the brake line. So that, I'm just gonna throw that away. I'm going to get a new set of lines, so we'll just get rid of that. First part is done. So next, I'm just going to get the parking cable out of the way. So this one can be a little tricky. There's a bracket right here, you just pull that out. But where it gets tricky is down here. So there's this clip, you gotta remove that. But this clip up here can get really stuck in there. But we'll get there when we get there. So let me pull this bracket off. There we go. Again, just going right back where it came from. I don't want to lose any of the bits. There we go. So then we got to come down here and we got to get that clip. And this can be a little tricky as well, but we'll get to it. So if you notice, so this pin is what's holding the parking brake to the, the cable to the actual mechanism itself. So there's this little pin right here, and you can kind of see it rotating. That pin, you got to pull that out, and then you got to work this thing out from the lever. So it can be a little tricky, but it's not impossible. Being on the car, this could be super bad. This would be not fun. But outside of the car, you have enough room to get around and maneuver and get it out. So let's get that thing out of here. All right, so the pin itself isn't too bad to get out. You just kind of maneuver it around, get a hold on it, and knock over your camera. There you go. So that pulls that out. So set that aside. So now this pin, this is where the pry bar comes in handy. Get it in there. Oh man, the PB blaster has been working its magic here. Oh, awesome. So there we go. So that's out. So now this is free. So for this thing, I just like to put it right back in, just so I don't lose it, because I'm notorious for losing little bits like this. And then I just put the locking pin back in it. So that way this thing is not going to go anywhere. I know exactly where it is. So next thing is the clip on the side. Pretty conventional, right? So just kind of get your pliers in. It's gonna want to fight you. work it around. Here's where your vice grips come in handy. There you go. Just pull that right out. So now this is able to move, so you're gonna have to pull it down and through the bracket. And this, you have to give yourself a little room to maneuver. It can fight you. There you go. Now it's coming. There we go. So now this is free. You can pull it back through. And there you go. That cable is gone. So, put that where it belongs. So there we go. So that's the brake line, and the handbrake cable is removed. So that's all good. Let's move on to the brake caliper itself and the rotor. So we're doing all of this so we can get down to the ABS sensor, and that's what we want to remove. So let's get to that. So next up is we're going to want to remove the brake caliper, the entire assembly. And you're going to want to do it just from the bracket. It's easier, it just comes off as one big piece. So I'm going to do that, and these bracket bolts, they can be pretty stuck on there, so hopefully this comes off. Nice. All right, there's one. Cool. So there's a crush washer that you're going to want to keep. Well, this one doesn't have the washer. That's good to know. Okay, so that, then you can just remove the entire caliper as one unit. So, put that right there. And then I'm just gonna put these right back where they came from. Again, I don't want to lose anything, so easy to keep track of it if it's all in one piece. So this we can set aside. Now we'll work on the rotor itself, and that's pretty simple. So at the factory, Honda puts in these two screws right here to secure the rotor in place. And these are notorious for getting completely frozen with rust. Doing it with a hand screwdriver is possible. The best thing that I've seen to use is an impact hammer drill to get these things out. And I've soaked these with PB Blaster to give myself the best opportunity that they're going to come out. Sometimes they come out, sometimes they don't. A lot of times they snap off in there. That's okay. You can drill them out, but it's not necessary. You can just put the rotor back on without putting these back in their place. So something to be aware of. These things can be kind of tricky to get out, but let's give it a go. All right. Whew. That was fortunate. Wow, okay. So that looked way easier than it should have, because these things just pulled right out. But I'd been soaking these with PB Blaster for quite a while, and it didn't look like these had been out for a while, but I am surprised they zipped out that quickly and that easily. A lot of the times these things can be a super big fight to get out, so that makes me really happy. So with these out, you can just pull the rotor right off. Go. And again, I'm just going to put these back here so I don't lose them. You guys are starting to see a theme. So I'm just taking a look at these rotors, and these ones are in pretty bad condition. Like I was looking at this, if you see here, or that's actual brake pad material that's just been seized onto the rotor. And if you look at the pad, see how it's all like rough? So that pad has been sitting there on that rotor like that, and it just got seized onto it. And yeah, so I don't know if these are going to be salvageable, but that's okay. I mean, a new set of rotors is not that expensive, and you know, It's for the rear of the car, which doesn't do a lot of the braking duty. The most of the braking duty happens up front, so not too bad. But I don't think these ones are going to. I don't think these are going to be okay to put back on. All right, we're learning new things all the time here, guys. And then here's what we're trying to get to. Let's see, that is your ABS sensor, right? So that I don't need. My car doesn't come with ABS, so there's just no point in having this in here. So I'm just going to pull this one out. And yeah, these things, apparently these are really expensive to replace, but my ABS cable was already clipped and snapped when I got to the junkyard, so there was no salvaging this. This is just basically trash heap now. So I'll show you how to get this sensor out. There's a couple videos on YouTube that show you how to do this. Eric the car guy has an amazing video that shows you how to disassemble the entire thing, and he actually removes the entire hub and the dust cover before he gets to this. And that's probably the right way to do it, but you know, I don't need to remove my hub. I'm not replacing anything there. I want to keep my dust cover. So the other way is just, there's a 10mm bolt here, or I think that's 12mm actually, and that's for a cover, so that cover comes off. That reveals 2 bolts down here along the side that you can't see right now, but I'll show you, and that is what actually attaches the sensor, and it comes right off. So I'll show you how to get to these. So I was wrong before, this is a 10mm bolt, it's not 12, so 10mm, just, oh, helps if you have a battery on here. 10mm. It comes right out. So that is the shield, the bracket cover. And then you can kind of make out, move that. So there's one, and there's the other one. So get down in here. Oh, I hate that when these things get stuck. There we go. So mine's a little jammed in here behind the dust cover, so that's a little annoying. But come on now. There we go. So now you have access. These are the actual bolts to the sensor. So we'll try to get those right now. Go. So now that ABS sensor is free. There we go. So it's out. So mine's kind of pinched under this dust cover. I need to pull it back, but that's it. It's removed. I had missed one of the brackets, so there's a little mounting bracket right here onto the actual brake bracket. It's just a 10mm bolt, and then this whole sensor comes right out. So there you go. That is your ABS sensor, which apparently is very expensive, but this one is worthless now because it got cut. Oh well. Nice box of junk. Don't need to worry about that. So there we go. So now this is disassembled enough where I can start pounding on this, the bushing. And boy, am I looking forward to that. All right, I'll keep you updated. Here we go.